Depression is the byproduct of the self-limiting beliefs that you have of yourself. And it's time to come from behind the broken narrative you have. You are not inadequate. You did not come into this world broken. You are of divinity, and divinity is intentional. You may find that where you are in life now, you're feeling a bit stagnant, right? You're feeling stuck, maybe even lost. And so your first thought is to do more. Your first thought is to try harder. And you may be missing the connection that that narrative has to the cycle that you're in. Because think of it, you've been in a situation like this before where you were ready to level up, right? So you took calculated steps. You figured out what you needed to progress, and you didn't care how many action steps it took in a day to make it possible. You did it. You crammed your daily routine and you stuck to it, and you saw progress from it. And that's what's driving you wild about this time, because here you are again, ready to level up, ready to become more. And so you're taking from experience the steps that you've done in the past that have worked for you, but you see now that you are not progressing. Again, you're feeling stuck. It's like you can't pass go. Those steps that you took before are not the requirement for this season of your life, and it's driving you mad. Instead, this new season is requiring of you to step from behind your relentless hunger for leveling up without first addressing what needs to be healed within you. Healing what you may be suppressing and thinking you could just outwork, thinking you can just multitask your way out of it and leave it where it's at, and you'll still see the glory, the wins that you so badly crave. And you may find yourself in new territory. This is it. Like, you find yourself in new territory and you're like, boom, I did it. I made it. I'm progressing. And then out of nowhere, here comes those same demons you've always dealt with. The very demons of your past, which are fear, anxiety, inadequacy, feeling like you're not enough. And it's time to break that cycle. It's time to do away with the narratives, with the habits, with the idea of what progression looks like, and leaving out the basis of it, which is it takes you addressing what needs to be healed. It's evident that your narratives are dated, your beliefs are dated, and you find yourself in this cycle, you find yourself in this season of life and feeling like you don't have that same control you've been used to in being able to shift your reality. And it's calling you to take a step back, to figure out, okay, how do I transmute all that I've been feeling? I've been feeling heavy, I've been feeling depressed, I've been feeling full of anxiety, and this isn't new to me. This is the same demon I've always dealt with. This is the same circumstance that has always held me back. And so how do I navigate past this? Here's how. The first is accepting that the conviction that you have over your life is all that matters. So often do we accept the projections, the worldly projections that are bestowed upon us, and it's so easy to do so. it almost feels like life is designed in that way, that we come into this world and our mission is to fight against what is projected on us. Our mission is to clear the worldly debris that tries to settle in our spirit. It's you understanding that you have to be the one to cultivate the internal weather system, if you will, within yourself. That you have to regain control of who gets to say who you are. And perhaps no longer is it an environment that you worry about. Maybe there isn't a community of people that project onto you. And so you're left with just your projections, just your thoughts. And as I said, it's your conviction. It's the conviction you speak over on your life that is restricting you from the identity that God has deemed you as, who he sees you as. And it's time to coming into the knowing that God has a identity that he cultivated within you. When he made you with intention. And we can know that to be true and still not believe it. And so it comes to what we convey to ourselves when no one is around, when we're by ourselves and it's just our narratives, it's just our words to keep us going. If you're feeling full of doubt, full of anxiety, full of depression, it's time to reflect on the stories and how do they align with the identity that you know in your womb, you know in your intuitive space, you know in your heart's mind, in your soul, that you're connected to. How does what you've been telling yourself relate to that? And to follow that, it's time to reconstruct your daily practices. It's so easy to assume that big dreams means big effort. It's so easy to assume that big dreams require big action, big daily action, when in reality, big dreams, I pray this gets through, big dreams require even bigger faith. Big dreams require that you have an unwavering belief system, and that what you see in your mind's eye, what you feel in your spirit, what you believe to be true in your heart is correct, it's adequate, it's aligned with the divine, and that's enough to carry your belief. That's enough to fuel your faith. Because being in a season where you feel stagnant, being in a season where you feel hopeless, unfulfilled, you can recognize how taking big steps, right? You think what's required is to do more. You think you need to spin so many plates to see the results you want to see in life. And yet where you're at is a reminder that no, more is not required. Healing and acceptance is required. Faith is required. And that can be so hard to accept, because faith and belief are these aloof things that we can't see or touch or feel, right? As humans, it is natural for us to want to control, for us to have a hold of our reality. We want to feel it in our hands. We want to feel like we have absolute control. And so that means our first thought, again, I'm going to do more. I have big dreams, so I gotta do this, and add that too. Not realizing that in doing all of that, it perpetuates this, to an extent, an unhealthy, unsatiable desire for more, when it causes you to feel like you're not enough, even after all of the doing, even after all of the accomplishments. Do you feel like you're enough? Do you feel fulfilled? And so this season you're in is begging you to find acceptance, is begging you to heal that anxiety, to come from behind all of the projections, all of the worldly projections and narratives that you have accepted and spoke with conviction into your life, to come from behind those and to step into the light. Step into the light of, I no longer want to accept that. I never believed myself to be that, but here I am with all of this worldly evidence of this narrative of me, yet I don't feel connected to it in my spirit. It's time for you to step into what you do feel connected with. And I know I speak with such conviction in how to step from behind those worldly narratives and beliefs and just step into who God has always known you to be, as if it's so easy to do because I'm right here with you. It's difficult. It's easy to accept worldly beliefs because, again, you look around and you have all the evidence, you have all the proof, you have the mistakes of your past, you have the narratives that other people have told you about yourself when you made a mistake, and you relive those in your mind, not realizing you are so far from those experiences. It's not easy to choose the narratives that you know are aligned with the God within you. If it was easy, I wouldn't be making a video on this, right? If it was easy, there would be so much more light in the world. I say that to remind you that your season of feeling stagnant, your season of feeling unfulfilled does not go without a purpose. A season of feeling low and at the bottom of your emotions has so much transformative power attached to it. And all it takes is a choice. All it takes is one decision made every day. And so from this video, I pray that you leave feeling filled with conviction to speak back to those narratives that will come up. I'm gonna be honest with you. After you leave this video, you're probably gonna feel really encouraged. You're gonna feel like, yeah, I have been depressed. Yes, I've been feeling unfulfilled, but this doesn't have to be my state of where I stay. I don't have to believe, I don't have to accept this. I can choose to step into who God has called me to be. I can believe in the purpose that He has placed within me. I can do this. I can choose something different. And that's exactly the state of being you want to be in, is to have that belief. But as they do, those old narratives, those demons of anxiety, those demons of self-doubt, they're going to come up. They're going to try to sweet talk you. At first, it's going to feel like they're keeping you safe. At first, it's going to feel like they are comforting you. They're reminding you that, hey, over here, you don't have to extend yourself and run the possibility of being made fun of. You can stay in your comfort zone, because if you try to go after your passions, you may fail. And what will happen if you fail? And typically you stop right there and you say right and you give into it. Know that those narratives, those thoughts, those voices are going to come up, but this time you're going to be prepared. This time, with your chest, from your heart space and from your spirit, you're going to say back to those narratives, I'm not accepting that anymore. I don't want to believe in that anymore. Yes, it's difficult for me to see a way out of this, but I'm making space. I'm making space for the possibility. I'm making room for the answers of the divine. Because these worldly beliefs, these worldly narratives are no longer serving me. Because here I am again wanting to progress in my life, wanting to see better, do more, and be more. And my old ways of doing is not serving me anymore. They're not helping me to level up as they once did. So I'm making space for what cannot be so easily attained. I'm making space for what requires big faith. I'm making space for what requires me to believe beyond my fears, beyond my anxiety, beyond my doubts. I'm making space for that, because to see the growth you want to see in your life, it's going to take you addressing what has been suppressed. It's going to take you healing the very pieces of you that you thought didn't deserve to be in the light, the parts of you that you thought were useless, the parts of you you thought couldn't come with you, but now are begging you to see them so that they can be healed, so that when you step into this new season, when you level up again, it's from a place of conviction. It's from a place of staying power. To see the transformation you want to see, it's going to take you to heal. It's going to take you to believe again, to have an unwavering sense of belief. It's going to take you to believe in yourself in a completely new way. And filling your day to day with so many tasks and thinking you have to do so many things just to see the results you want, you're going to have to adopt a new narrative that less is more. To be able to hit the target again and again and again on the same spot with the same accuracy, the same intentionality, it takes you simplifying your day-to-day efforts. It's going to take you simplifying what matters in your life. There's been a toxic sense of productivity where you think more means more. Reflect on how you're feeling now. How you are doing more, but you're not feeling fulfilled. You're doing more and you still don't feel enough. Why is that? I pray that this day onward, that you take the time to sit with God, to sit with the divine, to sit with the universe, whatever it's represented for you. Sit and reflect on the spaces, the places within you that need water, that need nourishment, that need healing. Because you may not be able to see it, you may not know it, but there's forces working in the background old narratives, old scripts that are working in the background that are on replay. You're in the future, you're in the present right now, but your past is on replay. It's going to take you addressing that. It's going to take you confronting your unworthiness. It's going to take you confronting what makes you feel inadequate. It's going to take you confronting the narratives you were sold in your life that made you believe that you can never amount to all of the dreams you have for yourself. It's going to take you confronting that. And it's going to hurt. It may feel scary. It's going to feel unfamiliar, but know that you are not without support. And that's where that belief comes in. That's where that faith comes in. Know that you do not have to accept depression, anxiety, debilitating anxiety at that as your final state. That will not be your final state. You can feel that in a day and transmute that into something else. And it's done with faith. Where you're going, where you're trying to progress to requires faith. It requires you to believe again. And with love, I want you to know, like, I believe in you. I see the divine in you. I just pray you see it too.